Alright guys, welcome to TCG&Whiskey. You're joining Mark and Tom. We're going to go over some fights from UFC Vegas 29. And I just want to explain, we don't cover all the fights due to time constraints. And also many of the fights are irrelevant in the sports card world at the moment. That doesn't mean that won't change over time. I'm sure it will. Now let's thank our sponsor, Tampa Bless, home of Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information on that. Now let's get right into it. First bout we got coming up, we have a featherweight bout. We got the Korean Zombie, Jung, going up against Dan Ige. Korean Zombie right now is ranked number 4. He's 16-6. He's 34 years old, and right now it's set at -110. He's a pick'em. He's coming off a loss to Brian Ortega. And then Dan Ige right now is ranked number 8. He's 15-3. He's 29 years old, and like I said, he's also the same, -110. And he's won 7 of his last 8 with a solo loss to Calvin Kattar, which was a great fight. Ige, these guys got chins. Both of them have incredible chins. Now, how do you see this one going? I know we're going to get a good board here. What do you see playing out here, Tom?
All right, well, first off, I want to say thanks for having me, Marky. Always a pleasure. All right, so we got Korean Zombie on one side. He's 34. Dan Ige, the American, 29 on the other side. Both these guys are 5'6", so they're even in height. Zombie, 16-6, as you mentioned, but in the UFC, he's 6-3. He's coming off a decision loss to Brian Ortega, as you mentioned, in October 2020. Some of his skill set, he's got quite a bit of accolades. 3rd Dan in Hapkido, 2nd Dan in Taekwondo, black belt in Judo, and a brown belt in BJJ. The Zombie has quite a skill set. If this was a video game, he
has a few Sambo champions under his belt too.
Okay, even deeper.
Yeah.
Other side, Dan Ige, the Hawaiian. He's fighting out of Hawaii, the American. 15-3 in the UFC. 15-3 overall. 7-2 in the UFC. He's a black belt in BJJ, a brown belt in Judo, with a D3 wrestling background as well. He's never been finished, so that's worth noting. He just welcomed his, I believe, his first child, a son, in 2021. That may give him a little extra boost of motivation here in the fight as well. He's coming off a 22-second knockout of Gavin Tucker in March 2021. Who do I pick? This is a tough call because historically, the Zombie has fought tougher competition. But I'm going to pick Dan Ige by decision or possibly strikes if, as we saw from the last quick knockout, his striking game is on the rise a la Usman. He could finish by strikes as well, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. Just to be noted here, the Korean Zombie is talking retirement if he takes too much damage in this fight. He said he's been working on avoiding elbows. So he said if he gets elbowed a lot, he may just leave his gloves in the ring after this one. So this is a must-win for the Zombie, just to throw that into consideration. But I agree. I believe 50K, he's so well-rounded. He surprises me nearly every time he gets in there. I think he grinds out, but the Korean Zombie doesn't get that nickname for no reason. I think we get a decision. I don't know if we're going to get strikes. Zombie's got a chin on him, but we'll see. As far as the card market goes, Zombie's been around forever, and so is his rookie card. I'm not a buyer, as every time he seems to climb towards the top, he just gets knocked down. He can't seem to get that belt. But he's in 2011 finest, great set. So if you're a set collector, that's a nice one to have. And Dan Ige is brand new. He's a rookie this year to Prism. I'm going to wait a little bit longer before I put a buy on him. Right now, I'll hold all my positions I have. I have an Addy. I've really grown to like him. He surprises me every time in there. He leaves it all on the line. Like you said, he has a kid. He's fighting for a little bit more. He's going to need that money, the bigger paydays. I believe with this fight, either one of these guys could potentially be the challenger to the belt, though. I'm not sure how you see that because the belt's kind of tied up right now. Do they fight Max, Yair, or did one of those guys go for the belt? Very top-heavy in the featherweight division right now, because Max kind of deserves another shot, but he might not get it if Volkanovski's there because of the way the first two losses happened for him. But my pick is same as you. I got Ige. I'm just taking decision.
I did want to add to that little statement that, yeah, it was 2 losses, but I disagree with them. Thought Max at least won one of those fights, and Max possibly gave Calvin Kattar CTE so many punches in the last fight that it's really might have done long-lasting damage. I'm not going to say CTE for sure, but that's a little bit of an overboard statement. But he took a lot of hits. I don't know if we haven't seen Calvin fight since then, and it'll be interesting to see if he can really get back to where he was before that fight, after that fight. Another thing I wanted to ask you, though, it's kind of a little bit off topic, but it is on the card topic. How do you feel about some of these guys, say like a Nate Diaz card or some of these other fighters that, yeah, they might not be a buy per what's happening right now, but would they be a buy if you saw them as a future Hall of Famer? Would that increase their card value or no?
Yeah, that definitely increases their card value. It doesn't always get them to the very pinnacle of where you're looking for as a collector. Well, it depends what people collect for. You should always collect who you like, first off. It's not always about the investment side. It's about who you like, because then you enjoy it, even if it's not worth a lot. But someone like Diaz, he's a fan favorite. His cards definitely could hold value. He probably will go to the Hall of Fame just because he's loved by so many people. I do believe that plays an effect. I do believe that to draw the big money, though, you have to be a champion at one point or another. It's kind of similar to Charles Barkley, Karl Malone in the NBA. They never got the title, so they've never been, I don't want to say they've never been on Jordan's level, but they haven't hit that next echelon level because they never got the title. You need that one solidification. Even if you only win the title for one fight, like Bisping, you just need that at least one time. You got to be in there at least fighting for it, showing it like that, because otherwise it does take away from the value as far as people see it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's move right along here. We got a heavyweight bout. I'm a little more excited for this one than I think you are. But we got Aleksandar Olynyk. He's ranked number 15. He's 59-15, and he has one draw. He's 43 years old. He's sitting at a plus 175 on betting odds. I believe he's currently ranked the oldest ranked fighter in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, being finished by Dawkins and Derek Lewis, which is no shame to really losing to those guys. He's going up against Sergey Spivak, the polar bear, who's 12-2. He's only 26 years old, and he's a favorite at minus 225 right now, and he's on a 2-fight win streak. Now, how do you see this one playing out right here?
Now, as far as the age goes with Aleksandar Olynyk, the Russian out of the Ukraine, he is actually going to be on June 25th. He's going to be turning 44 because him and Maya were both 43. So I really think he might have had the edge just within the same year because he's turning 44 June 25th. All right, so Aleksandar Olynyk, 43, will be 44 June 25th, as I just said. The Russian out of Ukraine. On the other side, Sergey Spivak, the polar bear, the Moldovan, 26 years old. Aleksandar Olynyk, 6'2". Spivak, 6'2". Spivak is 260 pounds, though, whereas Aleksandar Olynyk is listed as 240. Although Aleksandar Olynyk has a 2-inch reach advantage over Spivak. Now, overall record, Aleksandar Olynyk, 59-15-1. UFC, though, 8-6. International, I'm just going to go through a little bit of his skill set. International Master of Sports in Combat Sambo. 4th degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. A black belt also in BJJ. He's coming off a round 1 by TKO punches loss to Chris Dawkins in February 2021, just a few months back. And it was his second loss in a row, having lost to Derek Lewis previously before that. On the other side, you have Sergey Spivak, the polar bear. 12-2 overall, 3-2 in the UFC. 2-fight win streak coming off a round 2 TKO punches win against Jared Vandera in February 2021. He's also never been subbed in his career. My pick, listen, first off, I just hope it's not a boring fight. I fear that it may be. My pick, Aleksandar via submission, round 1, and he gets his 60th victory in his career.
That's just an insane number to think about. Man, yeah. It's crazy. But I'm going to go the other way. I think Sergey, I think he's going to win this one. I think he watched what the last guys did and just go pure aggression and go for the KO very early against Olynyk. I got him going KO round number 1. He's very well-rounded himself, Spivak. He gets it done all over. Like you said, he hasn't been submitted. He's got a good ground game. He's got decent submissions. He's got pretty good hands. I like him. I think he has a bright future. Now, Olynyk, let me just say, this guy, as far as his card market, this guy's legendary. Watching him was always fun for me. This is the only guy I've ever seen pull out the Ezekiel choke. That's where you go from the bottom and you throw your hand in his throat and choke him down from the bottom position. Just insane. Nobody really does that. Been fun to watch. I think he's a little bit over the hill. I hate to say it because I like him, but I'm with you. I kind of think he may get cut if he doesn't get this one done here. He's getting.
I'm in agreement with that. I'm not a huge fan. On the other side, I'm not a big fan of Olynyk. I do respect his career, however, but I'm not a big fan of his style. I do agree, though. I think that this is a must-win for Olynyk in order to continue and justify his place in the UFC.
Well, I've been a fan.
I have him winning, but I think it is a do or die type situation for him.
I believe that. I've been a fan, though. Like I said, I've never seen anyone else choke a guy out from the bottom. Impressive. If you've never seen that, you got to watch that because the guy just goes to sleep and you're like, what just happened? You don't even realize it's so sneaky. Now, Spivak, on the other hand, he looks better every time he goes out there. I think he's a good young prospect. I think he's a good test for most guys outside of the top 5. Now, he's not printed yet. I'll be sure to reevaluate when he becomes printed, but we'll see. Spivak.
Yeah, and he's only 26.
26.
I mean,
if
he's got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. If he can keep his diet well-rounded and keep learning with his skill set, I really like Spivak long term. That'd be my guy, but we got to wait on the card market for him. He's not out yet. Now we're going to move it right along. We got another one. We got a bantamweight bout. This is actually a rematch from 2016. We got Marlon, Vera. He's ranked 15 right now. He's 16-7-1, 28 years old, and he's a betting favorite. He's minus 230. He's going up against Davey Grant, who's 13-4. He's 35 years old, and he's plus 180 right now. Now, Grant's on a 3-fight win streak, and Vera's lost 2 out of his last 3, with the most recent being to Jose Aldo. So there's no shame in that loss either. Now, how do you see this one going? This could be a nice little battle here. I see this playing out pretty good. How do you see it going, Tom?
All right, we got Marlon Chito Vera on one side, 28'5'7" is his height, out of Ecuador. On the other side, Davey Grant out of the UK, 35'5'7", same as Chito in height. Chito is 16-7-1, as you mentioned overall, but the UFC, he's 10-6. He's coming off a unanimous decision loss to Jose Aldo in December 2020, and he's a black belt in BJJ. Davey Grant, 13-4 overall. UFC, he's 4-3. Purple belt in BJJ. He's coming off a round 2 KO win against Jonathan Martinez and 3 wins in a row. He also, as you mentioned, these guys have met before. He beat Chito via unanimous decision back in 2016. My pick, I'm going to go with the upset. Davey Grant via decision. This is a close matchup, though.
Well, I'm going to see it the opposite way on this one. Chito suffered a few tough losses versus tough opponents, but he's the real deal. I don't believe he's ever been finished, and he has some great leg kicks for that division. I'm going to take Chito round 2 leg kicks. Revenge. He wants that win back.
Ooh.
I think he can get.
Ooh,
I
like
think he can get it done. He's got great leg kicks, strong legs. I like him. Now, neither guy's been
All right.
printed before, so we'll review them over time. If anything happens, we'll see if either guy can make a nice historic run to get that belt. So, otherwise, right now we'll see. I believe Cheeto will get printed though within the coming, probably next year, next Prism set. I don't know if it'll be this year, but we'll see. Now we're gonna move on to another great fight. To me, this fight, it could be a little boring, but I'm really going to enjoy this one. I'm a big fan of both these girls. We got the women's strawweight division. Kanako Murata, she's 12-1. She's only 27 years old, and she's at plus 125. She's on an 8-fight winning streak, with her last one being Randa Marcos. And then she's going up against Verna Janadova, who's ranked 13. She's 33 years old. She's 16-2. She's a betting favorite right now at 155. And her only 2 losses are to Mackenzie Dern and Carla Esparza, who are phenomenal on the ground, where Verna is a specialist also.
Both top 5.
Both top 5. And one was the title holder. So, how do you see this one playing out? Where do you see it going? Don't have a ton of fights under Kanako under my belt watching, but I enjoy her.
All right. Japanese Kanako Murata, 27, 5'1" in height, 12-1 overall. UFC only 1-0. As you mentioned, she's 8 in a row, though, with wins, including other promotions. She's coming off a unanimous decision win against Randa Marcos. Decorated women's wrestler with a purple belt in BJJ. So that kind of reminds me of Esparza a little bit, the skill set. On the other side, Brazilian Verna Jandiroba, 33, 5'2", in height, 1 inch taller than Kanako. She's 16-2. In the UFC, she's 2-2. She was undefeated prior to coming to the UFC, however, but now 2-2 in the UFC. She's a black belt in BJJ and has a Muay Thai background as well. She's coming off, as you said, those unanimous decision loss to Mackenzie Dern in December 2020, and the only other loss was the decision to Carla Esparza, as we just discussed, who has a similar skill set to Kanako as far as just skill set goes, and that brought Verna to a decision. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Verna here via round 1 submission.
Oh, that's big. That's big. So this is a big step up in competition for Kanako. This is definitely going to be this might be her biggest fight of her career right now. And both girls are very well versed on the ground. Both have decent hands too so far. So keeping my fingers crossed on this one, I think we're going to see a slugfest. A little bit up in the air on this one. I have to take Verna. She really is a savage, and being that her only losses were to 2 other savages, and quite frankly, the Mackenzie Dern fight was extremely close. And anyone who follows me knows I love Dern, but that fight was very close. You could barely tell who won that one. I remember you watching when they went to war, and they stood up because neither girl really wanted to go to the ground in that one. And I feel like that might happen again right here, where when you get 2 girls so heavily decorated with wrestling and jiu-jitsu and everything, they stand. They don't go to the ground. I think we might get that. So we could be due for a slugfest. And Verna is, she's the real deal. She's the real deal. She's battle tested. I like her. I'm going to take her. I think we're going to go decision, though. I'm a little bit decision heavy on this card right here. I feel like we don't have a ton of heavy hitters. So I'm going decision. But Verna can get it done. I agree. She definitely can. She's got the skill set to get it done. Both these women, they're not printed at the time. We'll reevaluate them also. And I think we'll see both of them as rookies next year. That's my personal opinion. I think we'll get them both. Verna's going to climb the ranks with another win here if she wins again. So the other problem they have is
it's interesting how these card companies decide who's going to be printed. I mean, Cheeto Vera, his UFC record is 10-6. That's 16 fights. You didn't think he was worthy of a card yet?
They kind of dropped the ball, and they only gave love to baseball for a very long time. Now they give a little love to soccer, but mostly baseball has been their bread and butter. I mean, look, they gave up the UFC when the UFC is really just getting going, in my opinion. I mean, you've been watching
Yeah, it was a bad
you've
move.
been watching a long time, just like me, and it's never been this big. It's at its biggest moment. So, yeah, tops. But Panini printed a ton of guys this year, so I think that trend continues. They'll be putting up a lot of guys, and that's why I think we'll see Cheeto soon. I just don't think he's got enough TV time for them to really put him in yet, but I'm sure we'll see him. I'm sure of that. Now we're going to move on. We got another one. This could be the fight of the night. To me, this looks like this might be fight of the night. We got Chaos Kalen Williams. He's 27 years old. He's 11-2. He's the betting favorite at -170. He's coming off a loss to Michel Pereira. No shame there. Pereira's a savage. He's going up against Matthew Semelsberger, who's 8-2. He's 28 years old. He's betting at +140 right now. You can get some money if you like him. He's on a 5-fight win streak. And Matthews actually went to school over in our neck of the woods there. He's a Marist kid. He did basically finish school. He left 10 credits shy. He went there for wrestling, and he just wanted to pursue. One of his best friends died, and he had a life check. And he said, "Yeah, I want to fight." And he left school, and well, he's been on a pretty good tear, and he's in the UFC, so he's making things work. Now, how do you see this one playing out? We got a power Chaos Williams, knockout artist up there, going up against Semelsberger, who's a heavy wrestling background. How do you see this, Tom?
And he could throw down as well, Matthew Semelsberger. All right, so you got Kalen Chaos Williams, 27 years old, the American on one side, 6 feet tall, 2-inch reach advantage. On the other side, you have American Matthew Semi the Jedi Semelsberger, 28. He's 6'1" in height, 1 inch taller, but has lacking 2 inches because Chaos has a 2-inch reach advantage on him. Chaos is 11-2 overall, 11-2. UFC, he's 2-1. He's coming off a loss to Demolador, as you mentioned, in December 2020. He's a blue belt in BJJ. He's never been finished, also worth noting. On the other side, Matthew, 8-2-0. UFC, he's 2-0. He's on a 2-fight win streak, 5-fight win streak, including previous promotions. Freestyle fighter. He's coming off a 16-second KO of Jason Witt in round 1 in March 2021. So he's coming off almost a record knockout. He's got to have a lot of confidence. And it definitely brought that level to his game to where people have to be on the lookout for getting tagged by this guy. Where do I see it going? I really think it's a pick'em, but I'm going to go with Semi the Jedi by decision. Maybe fight of the night, or fight of the night and potentially a round 1 KO. I just think these guys are going to go at it, and if someone doesn't get knocked out and they can take each other's punches in round 1, then I think it may just turn into a 3-round war and go to a decision in which Semi the Jedi wins.
Okay.
But this really could go either way. This is that type of fight.
Yeah, this could be a fight of the card. I agree. I think Chaos brings the heat. Semelsberger, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Reading his story, he left to go to the pros with 1 loss and no wins. He's amateur, and everybody gave him crap about it. So he's been fighting with this chip on his shoulder about it since then. But I think Chaos just has that power. I'm not going to add this to any parlays, I could tell you that. I'm not positive about it. It should be a battle, like you said. But I think Williams gets it done. If he gets it done, it's a KO. It's an early KO. I'm taking first round here. Williams catches him coming in and ends his night early. I haven't seen guys fall the way Williams hits them in a while, man. He's got serious power in those hands. Now, Chaos actually has a rookie card printed this year. He came out in Prism. Matt's not printed yet, so we'll reevaluate him later. But I think both guys need a couple more fights under their belt for me to give them the buy rating. So we'll wait for Matt to get printed and reevaluate. And Chaos, with this win, you could start to speculate a little sprinkle, since he's so cheap right now. He's under the radar. So that's my thing. I'm taking Chaos round 1. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. This has been Mark and Tom.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. We'll see you guys next time.